G'day guys, welcome back to the Rugby League Guru podcast. We have got our preview for finals week one and all of our tips heading into what is going to be a huge weekend. Finals week one of the NRL and another big round of the NRLW coming off last week. An enormous round of upsets and whatnot. It was crazy what played out in the NRLW last week. So we'll sink our fangs into all of our tips and predictions for this week. Brought to you by Neds. Guys, make sure you jump onto the app, follow along with all of our bets this week. I've extended my lead on about even. Tom and Eddie, they're in the rearview mirror looking to really put the hose in the mouth this week and finish the boys off. So make sure you're tuning in and following along with our bets every week and keep an eye out for the Panthers as well. Your opportunity, your first opportunity to achieve glory for this great nation. So stay tuned there. It's going to be fantastic. Catmandu, how are you, my friend?
Very, very good. How are you?
Good. I have got a serious dose of finals fever. How are you feeling?
Yeah. What other context am I wearing a Penrith hat?
Yeah, you've jumped off the...
Pretty much off the, you're going to say off the Bulldogs train?
Well, I was going to say off the South Sydney Bulldogs train very quickly. Jumped on the favourites.
Do you know what?
Well,
I have never understood the rugby league guru mentality of I'm in it for the game. I don't have a team.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the game. I've never understood that mentality more than now. And it is extremely difficult to have conversations with people because I like every team now.
Yeah.
And they're always confused like, oh, well then you support this team, you support that team. No, I'm a fan of the game.
Nothing annoys people more and I love it. All right, Kat, let's kick off with the NRL games. A couple of sudden death games, a couple of top four games to start though. Where are we kicking off?
We're going to kick off right here. I'm pointing at my hat for those at home.
Right here, yes.
Yeah. I'm pointing at my hat. Panthers are hosting the Roosters at Penrith. And this is a big one, 7:50 Friday.
Huge one. I will be out there. I will be stealing Kat's hat to wear out there as well, just to rub it into you Roosters fans out there that are coming after me. Kat, I've got the Panthers winning this one. I just think at home with Nath Cleary back, the Panthers are a different football team in September. We've learnt this over the last few weeks. I think the Roosters' injuries and whatnot, I just think it's going to be a little bit too much to ask of the Sydney Roosters. I tipped them to lose against the Raiders 2 weeks ago, tipped them to lose against South Sydney. They beat them. Big part of that is the stats you've seen come out this week. They've got a 30% win record over top 8 teams and they haven't beaten a top 4 team all year. With their injuries, I just don't think they can compete with these top sides. So Penrith, I think the other big thing here, they are farewelling Penrith Park. They're going to be playing out at Combank next year. The big farewell to Penrith. The last time Jerome Luai, Fisher Harris, Taruva is going to run out there. I just think there's going to be too much emotion out there. And honestly, I couldn't think of anything worse than playing the Panthers at home in this game with all those farewells. So Panthers for me. Any sniff of an upset for you, Mandu?
Not this week.
No.
I don't think that a win in finals is completely out of the question for the Roosters, but I think to your point, this Penrith side are just built different, and I think the emotion behind this game might be too much for them. But you never know, and that's what's great about the sport. So
100%.
Let's see what happens.
Yep.
Okay, the next game, Storm v Sharks. This one is down in Melbourne at Amy Park, 4:05 on Saturday.
Yeah, this is going to be an absolute cracker. I personally think this is probably game of the week. I know people will look at the Panthers-Roosters game, but I reckon this will be a slightly better game. I think the Sharks... At $3.50 on Neds, I think they're being so disrespected. It's not even funny. I look at the Melbourne Storm and they've been fantastic all year. I think the spot that you can get them is on their edges. I think there are a few defensive problems there. And I think the Sharkies, between Mulatalo, Katoa, Rami and Iro, and even their edge back rowers, Wilton and Britt Nikota, I have so much respect for these edges, and I just think they can give the Melbourne Storm threats down there. I reckon the Sharkies are a sniff. I think the Melbourne Storm will hold on at home to win by about 4 to 8 points. I think it'll be tight, but I think the Sharkies put up a good fight, and I think the Sharkies have the team, the mentality, and I think if they're offloading the ball and moving it, I think they've got the game plan to knock over Melbourne down here. I think the big thing with Melbourne, and we'll talk about it in Coach's Clipboard, you got to make this side uncomfortable. If you try and get into the grind and the arm wrestle with them, I think you're just playing to their hands. So I think the Sharkies are the best chance at an upset this weekend, but I'm going to take the Melbourne Storm sort of 4 to 8 points in that range. What are you looking at, Kat?
Oh, yeah, I think Storm are too good for an upset in this particular game. But I do agree with you. I think there is something about this Shark side, and I'd love to see them win a finals game as well. So if they cause an upset here, I'd be more than happy to see it.
I'll tell you what, if you are a betting kind of guy and you're on the Neds app looking for a value play, they're giving the Sharkies about a 10.5 start, 10.5 points in finals. With the attacking strike weapons they have out there, I personally just think it's way too much. I can't believe they're at this price. I'm not expecting them to be favourites or anything, but I think it should be a lot closer than what it is. That's my about even bet this week. I've triple staked that. I've got the Sharkies. I'm giving them I think I gave them a 13.5 start into an over 36.5. So really, really good value for the Sharkies there. What's next, Kat?
Then we have the Cowboys hosting the Knights up in North Queensland. This one is the late game on Saturday. This is an interesting one.
This is an interesting one. Two teams, to put it bluntly, you don't want to rely on, according to the eye test. When you look at the stats, the Knights, still a side you don't want to rely on, but the Cowboys, according to stats, I mean, they're a damn good football team. I've heard it thrown around a little bit this week. They've been on fraud alert all year, and I agree with you. I felt exactly the same way with them. We did a podcast probably 15 weeks ago now where we did our pretenders and contenders for this competition. The Cowboys were in, I think, 13th at the time. We had them in the contenders category and we copped a heap for it. And rightly so, I didn't feel right about it, but their attack is just so good that on their day they can blitz anyone. Up there in North Queensland, I think it's just going to be too much of an advantage. Jordan McLean back in as well, which will help them through the middle. A little bit of experience there. They're essentially all fully fit, the North Queensland Cowboys. I'm trying to think if there's anyone that they're missing. Obviously, a couple of centres from the start of the year, but when you look at the team that they could have picked over the last 10 weeks, this is their best available squad. So I'm going to go the Cowboys at home. That matchup of Scotty Drinkbloke and Kalen Ponga. I cannot wait for that one. That one's going to be a cracker. It's probably unfair of me to give the Sharkies such a rap and not the Knights, I guess, because they've got a pretty... not a similar side, but they've got a lot of points in them, the Newcastle Knights on their day. I just think that everything's going to go through KP as it should. And I just think if the Cowboys can do a 7 out of 10 job defending him, they'll shut him down. You look at the Knights, haven't beaten a top 8 side, Cat, since round 2. That's a bloody long innings. I think they're filling numbers a little bit, in my opinion. I'm going to take the Cowboys to win at home, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pull away from the Knights late in this one and get a decent little win. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I foresee a similar predicament. I think Cowboys will put a decent score on the Knights here. They're up at home. It's obviously home side advantage, but more than anything, I think this 8th spot was in contention for so many weeks. It could have been so many different teams could have been fighting the Cowboys this week. And I think the Knights, they did make it through last week. They were the better team against the Dolphins, but I think even then it wasn't super convincing.
Yeah.
So I think that they'll just hold on as long as they can in finals.
My theory with the Knights over the last month or so, Kat, has been that, there's plenty of rumblings up there coming out of Newcastle and rumours about squad changes and all this sort of stuff, as there always is when Newcastle aren't going, fantastic. But my thought process was the Knights are a side that have played a lot of very average teams the last few weeks. Yeah. And I think good oppositions have sort of kept them from being in a little bit of carnage. And you know what? I had a look through their draw. Played the Dolphins last week who, with all due respect to the Dolphins, limping to the finish line realistically. The Titans the week before that are in all sorts. Your South Sydney Rabbitohs the week before that are in all sorts. And I thought, you know what? I'm spot on here. Then I had a look at the 3 games before that. Take out the Tigers game. Tigers in all sorts. They gave it to them. They went and played the Sharkies at Shark Park. They lost by 1 point. They went and played the Panthers at Penrith. They lost by 8 points. They have competed in some games against some decent sides. There's some very good sides, in my opinion. 2 of the top 3 sides remaining in this competition. So the Knights, when they want to, they can heavily lean into that real blue collar sort of style of footy. I think the Cowboys, attacking wise, I just think they'll have too much loaded up. Adam O'Brien made the point this week that they are more battle hardened. I don't know if I completely agree with that when you play 3 of the bottom 9 sides in the competition in the month leading into it. So we'll see how it plays out, but I'm going to take the Cowboys. What's next, Kat?
Okay, then the finals action for the NRL rounds out with the Bulldogs hosting Manly for the second time in just a few weeks at a course stadium. This is a bit of a copy and paste of what we saw a few weeks ago, so it'll be interesting to see how the result differs. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong, Kat, but I think the Doggies will struggle here. I know they're getting troops back. I understand that. And I think that'll be the whole lean in this week. I think they'll just burn the tapes of the last 2 weeks and they'll just be focusing looking forward. I don't know. Even with the stuff around Josh Adokar this week, just another distraction you don't need coming into finals. I think that when you're coming off 2 big losses, guys that become really important during that week, they're the high energy guys. They're the personalities in the team that buoy the boys, for use of a better term. And I just think this stuff around Fox, I think it is going to hurt them a little bit. I cannot believe it's sort of an even money clash here. I think the Manly Seagulls getting Turbo back. Unfortunately, and once again, I hope I'm wrong, but I think they could put a little bit of a score on the Canterbury Bulldogs. Best defensive side all year, and that can't be ignored. But on the other side of the coin, they've been the worst defensive side in the last 2 weeks when it's really mattered. So I don't know. I think momentum coming into finals is key. It's very, very hard to just flick a switch all of a sudden and get back into that form, especially when you've had to do it the way that they've done it. We'll talk about it. We already spoke about it earlier today on the Rugby League Guru podcast, but you know, when you have a look at NRL Physio, put up all the injuries for the year, the Bulldogs are they've had a pretty tough run with injuries as well. So they've really just had to fight for every inch in typical Canterbury Bulldogs fashion, just dogs of war stuff. But I personally think they've run a little bit out of gas this week. I think that even last week, Cat against the Cowboys, I sort of thought, Stephen Crichton comes back in, he'll be okay. I even thought Critter looked a little bit tired last week, which he hasn't really looked that way since he debuted, essentially. Yeah. So Manly with Turbo, I just think they've got too much strike. I think the kicking game of DCE will be crucial. And this Manly pack, if they win the first 20 minutes, they could really blow the Bulldogs away here. So I'm going to take the Manly Seagulls for a big win. Once again, hope I'm wrong. I would love to see the Bulldogs go on a little run here and find that form again. I'd also love to see Tom and Eddie lick their wounds. But I think the Manly Seagulls get up here. What do you reckon, Kat?
Yeah, similar thoughts on my end. I think Turbo back is massive for this clash. Yep. And I couldn't agree more with there's so much noise around the Dogs this week and it's not been good noise. Yep. It's been distracting. I hope for the players' sakes it hasn't taken too much of a toll on them, but we know the reality of the game is that this stuff kind of seeps in and it can have an effect. That being said, like you said, they have been the best defensive side for the majority of this season. Yep. And I think if they can go back to that, they have a really good chance against this Manly side. But I'm tipping Manly for this one. I think they look really good to me. I think, they're my little wild card for finals. So I'm kind of going to back them, I guess, for this one and we'll see what happens. But I am a Belmore local now.
Yes,
so
you are.
If the Dogs do win, the noise of Belmore will be keeping me awake on Sunday night and I will feel their wrath for tipping Manly.
Speaking of the Canterbury Bulldogs, because they have been so good throughout the regular season, they've got a home game here. So thank God you don't have to go to Brookvale Oval. And speaking of Belmore locals, get the fuck out there on Sunday. Yeah. Get around your team honestly, they could lose this game 80-0 and I would say this season has been such a success. Yes, it's not even funny. It's been incredible. So your big advantage is that you've got one hell of a stadium out there to fill and if every Canterbury fan was to show up, they could fill that entire thing. So I'm really hoping we get 50, 60,000 out there Sunday afternoon. I think it's the one thing that could really boost the Canterbury Bulldogs if their fan base gets right behind them, get those drums pumping. With all due respect to Manly fans, too many of them probably aren't going to travel over there. So you Canterbury fans, get behind your team. Get behind your team big time.
Absolutely.
All right, NRLW, Kathmandu, what do we got?
Jump over 1 second. Oh, can we just really quickly touch on some of those results over the weekend though?
Yes, please. I think we might have got two,
our tips
maybe?
were, I think, quite shambolic, to be honest.
Yeah, shambolic might be a compliment. Yeah. It was a disaster. For me, Kat, the one that stands out, the Roosters knocking over the Sharkies 40 points to nil.
Yeah,
8 tries to nil.
I watched this one. I had this one on. And I just try after try after try after try. And Roosters have also been plagued by injury. I think they just came through and they were the stronger side, obviously, but they just played too well.
And you know what? Like, Taryn Aiken got injured in this one, but when she did, it was already 30-0. It was already Red Rover.
Yeah.
This Sharky side, I am very, very keen, Kat, to see how they respond this week. They are the big watch for me this week. The other game, well, two other games last week that I thought were incredible. I gave the Parramatta Eels next to no hope to knock over the Gold Coast Titans. That was a huge win.
Yeah.
At McDonald Jones Stadium, we were up there on Sunday afternoon. Didn't get to hang around for this game because I had to get back to Sydney, but my God, the Broncos. Remember when they started 0-2 and we went, oh, is the season over for the Broncos? They've bounced back in incredible fashion.
Who said they would?
Random stats guy.
Random
your brother.
stats guy.
He's good at what he does.
My brother. Actually, there was a funny comment on the video that we posted of our trip to Newey. Someone saying that Rando looks good in a wig.
Just having a look at the ladder now, they started 0-2. They're now 5-2. So 5 on the trot.
It is literally what Rando said.
Yeah, he nailed it. Incredible.
All right, shall we dive into the fixtures? So the women's action kicks off tonight at 7:45 p.m. The West Tigers to host the Dragons. This is 10th v 9th.
This one starts tonight, does it? Oh,
yeah.
Beautiful. Some footy. How good. All right. I am going to... Oh, this is tough. I'm going to take my boys' team. Sowie's team. I'm going to take them. This is a real coin toss for me, though.
Yeah.
I'm not overly convinced on this one, but I'm going to go the Dragons. Cat, it's at Leichhardt. Oh, fuck it, I'll go the Dragons. What do you reckon?
I'm going to go Tigers on this one. I think there is something so special about Leichhardt Oval. I've witnessed it myself twice this season, and yes, it was the men's. I saw them smash the Sharks, and then I saw them smash Manly, and maybe I'm Tigers' good luck charm, but I actually think it's something to do with Leichhardt Oval, and I think that it will have the same effect on the women's tonight.
Yeah, love that.
Then we have the Broncos hosting the Sharks. This is third versus first place. Now, when you do look at the top four, it is somewhat what we would have predicted, but it says nothing about who's winning and who's losing this.
Yeah, for sure. And as you said, the top four, sort of as we predicted, how they got there has sort of surprised me a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the Sharkies heading into that loss last week, I think they'd won 5 or 6 on the trot. They're having an incredible season up to that point. I think the Sharkies get a good bounce back in this game, but I just think the momentum of the Broncos in a short comp like this, also up there in Queensland, if it was at Shark Park, might be a different conversation. I'm going to take the Broncos to continue their good form here. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Broncos too. I saw Ali Brigginshaw over the weekend. I think it was a good omen for where they're at. And, she's such a crucial face in this game. And I think her experience is coming in clutch when they need it most.
Did you see Ali up there at Brisbane?
No,
Newcastle?
Yeah.
Oh, bugger, I didn't see her.
Yeah.
Bring and go.
I saw her in the morning though.
Yeah,
I think they were going on a bit of
okay.
a team walk, but I only spotted her and then I saw a few other girls in the distance. So,
cool.
Okay. Then we have the Titans hosting the Knights. This one is the second game on Saturday, kickoff at 1:45 p.m. This is also at Seabus Super Stadium. So we've actually got a bit of a head-to-head going on here.
Double header?
Double head-to-head. A double header going on here. Ooh. Broncos Sharks, and then it goes straight into Titans Knights.
Where are the Titans on the ladder right now? Let's have a look. They're in 7th. Oh, desperate footy sides. I'm going to take the Titans for an upset.
Oh, I like it.
Obviously, the Newcastle Knights, they're the heavyweights in this competition. I just think backs against the wall for the Gold Coast Titans. I think if they lose this one...
They lose this one, they're completely out. I think they're mathematically out of finals contention unless they win. They have to win. Oh, my God,
it's round 8 already.
Yeah, I know.
That's gone quick.
They need to win this week.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Titans then. Backs against the wall stuff. Defensively, they were just so good last year. I think they can find that again. I'm going to take the Titans to get up in this one. $2.35. Good value there.
Yeah,
what are you going,
Kat? Being at home is going to come to their advantage as well here. I'm also going to tip the Titans for this one. Okay, then we have the Roosters hosting the Cowboys. This one is in Gosford, 12 p.m. at kickoff on Sunday.
Yeah, I can't go past the Chooks here. I just think they will be too good in this one. The Cowboys have impressed me in parts this year, to be fair. I wasn't expecting a heap out of them. I didn't know too much about their squad. But the Roosters, I just think there's too much strike power in this side. So I think they'll be higher for win last week. Give me the Chookies in this one.
Yeah. Can't agree more. The Trookies are too good right now. And then we have the Raiders hosting the Eels down at GAO Stadium in Canberra.
You know what? I looked at this game, Kat, and I thought these are the two teams I probably find the hardest to predict week to week in the NRLW, and they are exactly $1.90 each. So this one is a dead set coin toss. When you've got a coin toss like this, I tend to favour the home side. I think the Raiders down there at GIO, I think they will get the job done. So give me the Canberra Raiders. Who are you going?
Oh, it's a toughie, this one. But I think I am going to tip the Eels for this.
Nice, like that.
They were, as far as I know, they were wooden spooners last year.
Yep.
They have really turned that team around. They've had some really intense injuries as well that they copped very early into this season, but somehow they are at fifth on the table. And I think that it's looking good for them. If they were going to beat the Raiders on any weekend, it's this one.
Yeah, I like that. They did collect the spoon last year. Had a very tough year. I think they only had one win last season. So for them to knock over a couple of the good sides in this comp, and once again, we can't highlight it enough. They've had some very key injuries this year, the Parramatta Eels. So full credit to them. All right, is that us done and dusted,
That's us
Kathmandu?
done and dusted.
Beautiful. Guys, enjoy your finals footy this weekend in the NRL. NRLW is, honestly, considering how short this comp is and it's round 8, there's a lot of games that pretty much are finals games this weekend. So it's going to be an enormous weekend of rugby league. Guys, brought to you by Neds, our official partners for season 2024. Jump onto the app, follow along with all of our About Even bets each and every week for the rest of the season. Gamble responsibly, as always. All of the odds and everything I mentioned here, prices subject to change, obviously, so make sure you pay attention there. But enjoy your finals footy and your round 8 of the NRLW.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website